Camera one. Camera one, what are you doing over there?
Rolling.
We're buffering. That's what we're doing.
Come on, honey, get to work. Chop.
We're gonna have to
Taps the wasting.
For real.
Seriously, it literally is. Let's go, sweetheart.
Hey,
Leave it along.
That's that just reminds me of Southie. Hey, sweetheart.
Southie kid, get it together.
There is something that is so comforting about just an awful, ignorant Boston accent to me.
Like a forced one, or
No, something that's very, like, you can just tell that they grew up here and their family has been here for generations. And it's just supernatural. But no, I think if it's forced, it's awful. But
I saw a video. It was like all the different types of New England people, and it was the one that complains but never leaves. The one that leaves, and then all they talk about is being from Boston or New England. And then what was the other one? The one that just stays here, has never left any of the six cities. Six cities, jeez. The 6 states ever. Yeah. They think that like South Boston is like the center of just New England.
Oh my goodness. Well, some people think of like New York like that.
Yeah,
like
that's
people
true.
that live in New York, I feel like would probably do the same.
Yeah, that they've never left Massachusetts ever and don't realize that Maine and Vermont are actually part of the New England area.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much where they're at. It was pretty funny. I feel like
I can't imagine not leaving.
I know. I wanted to move. It's still kind of in the back of my mind. I wanted to move to Texas.
Really? Oh, wait, you have family there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to move to Texas. Actually, a couple of years ago, we almost pulled the trigger on it.
I feel like we talked about that.
Yeah, I wanted to move. We were ready to go in a sense, because my job I could transfer. My wife wasn't working at the time, so she's like, I'll just work wherever.
Yeah,
once we get there,
right?
you know. But we were gonna try to rent an apartment first, just see how it works for a year, and this way we're not locked into a house. And then
smart.
And then just like if it works, cool. If not, all right, we can just come back. But obviously, didn't pull the trigger. Still here.
Like what?
Not leaving.
Yeah.
If you were to move out of state, what state would you?
Damn. I mean, I love Arizona. Besides, like, the heat. I mean, during the summer,
I've never
obviously
been.
it's like 120, but I mean, it's fucking nice out there.
It looks beautiful.
I think
it does.
I would probably want to live in Colorado too.
Colorado's nice.
Somewhere out west.
Yeah, I got you on that.
I feel like everything is like bigger and better out there.
It's so beautiful. Different pace.
Yeah.
Like just different.
Much slower
way.
pace.
Yeah, different way of life
I like
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
I like it though. Like I love Texas.
People seem nicer out there.
Yeah.
They do. I think they're more patient.
Yeah.
I think, like we talked about on the last one, I think they're more patient to, like, if you are going slow.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity, driving, waitressing, whatever, you're just like, all right, cool.
That's
like,
just how it is.
But some people are
Just kick it right here. We're good.
But some people are just like too chill and they just like overdo it.
Yeah, you're like, all right.
Hi, how are you?
No, I can't.
Where are you from? You're not from around here. I know you're not from around here.
Is that a Boston accent you
Oh
have?
my God, I know. I feel like,
I get it all the time.
yeah, as soon as
The
I
car.
leave.
What'd you say?
Right.
The cot. Oh, what? The car. Oh.
People will all, like, know exactly where I'm from right away.
Yeah. Have you seen my khakis? You're wearing them.
khakis.
No, my khakis.
Oh my God. I remember I was in an improv class, and it wasn't until like the teacher looked at me and was like, "What did you say?" And then I even realized that I was like, so you know that thing that you look in and you can see your reflection?
A mirror?
Yeah. So that's how I say it too. I'm like, yeah, I look in the mirror. And he was like, what? Like, what are you saying, Kayla? And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I sounded that ignorant there.
Does anybody, when they go to a place that's not New England, where there is obviously a different kind of accent, and then they pick up that accent, and then they have it for like 2 weeks after they leave? Does anybody else do that? I do.
Not really.
I do. Every time I go to Texas.
I feel like
I probably would. I mean, if I was like in a place where like the accent was like super heavy,
Yeah.
I'd start
I'd
picking up on their lingo and stuff like that.
I was just gonna say I'd probably
Yeah.
pick up on like whatever like was their lingo or like common phrases or something. So, but I don't know.
I almost go full-fledged accent.
You really lean into that.
Yeah.
You're like
It just changes. I don't know why.
This is where I'm from, man.
Yeah,
From
just be.
Darnesville, Georgia.
like Jay's repping Texas now.
Yep.
What it is, what it do, man.
It's like you don't even have to ask where I went. You can just listen for the accent for a little bit, and then you're like, he was in Georgia last week.
Yeah, whenever you come back from a trip, we won't even ask you. We'll be like, oh, okay.
The what? The core.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You're good. Your allergies suck.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm dying, and this
Guys,
whole
stop
podcast is just going to be me
coughing.
coughing.
Cough drops are the best.
Yeah.
I literally have some on the side of my door in my truck, and I'll just pop them like Skittles. It's
That
bad.
Probably I should have,
I like the blue ones though. I don't like the red ones. I know this is like a
we
weird
talked
way to
about
start a
this.
podcast.
How come?
but I don't like the taste. And the blue ones literally say like because they work for your sinuses too.
Right.
Whereas like the red, I think it's just like pause, straight throat,
Not enough menthol in it, maybe.
maybe.
I don't think there's any at all. I used to think the red ones were candy.
Kids at my church do. They're like, no, you can't have that. That is not for you. But they try every time.
It's
We have to-
definitely not candy.
but they try,
Trust
and then
me.
we have to like take it away. We're like, no, stop it. Anyways, what an intro to our.
I know.
What's up, everybody? This is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. My name is L.Y.F.E. To my right is J Faith.
What's
and
up?
This is Kayla Schenk. This is Prom-Cast.
Yeah, as you're probably wondering why we are dressed the way we are, at least Miss Kayla over here in a beautiful prom gown. We decided to do kind of a Prom-Cast kind of themed episode with, just congratulations, one, to all of the graduating classes that are out there, whether you're in high school, middle school as well, and obviously college too. It's definitely been some years since I've graduated. Sadly, it's
Just
crazy
a
to
few
think.
for us, right?
Crazy to think, but we just want to shout out all of y'all. Congratulations for doing that, and hopefully, future successes in whatever it is that you're doing. But we just wanted to have a little bit of fun, get a little bit dressed up. I guess you could say guys, doing what we typically do, going super simple, and then the women obviously getting all dolled up, and
That's the time.
that's the time to do it.
I like high school. It's funny because like looking back, it seems like it wasn't that long ago, but then there are some aspects where it's like, oh my god, that does feel like forever too.
Did we all go to prom?
No.
I did.
No?
No.
Okay,
I went to homecoming, but like at another school.
No.
got you.
I didn't go to prom.
Any reason why? That's not.
I don't know. I
Like-
just didn't want to pay for the $100 plus tickets.
God, it was $100.
I mean, it would have been great for the experience, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't really into it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost didn't go to mine because I was like, do I really want to socialize with these people?
Right.
But whatever. Then I was like, well, this is because it's prom. So I was like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't we?
I like looking back. I feel like I would like if I could do it over, knowing then what I know now, I probably wouldn't go,
Wouldn't?
and only wouldn't go, and
Okay.
only because I didn't have a date,
Okay.
because my girlfriend or my girlfriend at the time was on vacation with her family, so she couldn't go. So I was like, well, it's prom, I'm gonna go, because it's prom, me personally, but I went by myself because I wanted to avoid the going with somebody and then dealing with the aftermath of what did you do? Did you dance too close? Did you, I was like, I'm not dealing with that. So I'll just go by myself. Well, I went with a friend who had a date, my best friend at the time in high school. So we just all like carpooled together, rented a Charger, and drove to prom.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I drove, obviously.
That's wicked fun.
And then, all right, so funny story. So we were going to get our tuxes, and probably like a week before, my buddy ends up like, long story less long, stabbing himself in the leg with a box cutter.
Ooh.
And like in his shop at Grillo. So he's like, I'm literally like pushing him around the mall in a wheelchair as we're going to get our tuxes. Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
for
pretty
prom?
hardcore.
For prom, yeah. We went to, there was like a tux place. I don't think it's there anymore. It was near the food court at the Pheasant Lane Mall.
I know what you're talking about. I remember that.
It used to, yeah, that one over there. So we went there, got everything. He's in like the dressing room, like struggling. Obviously, I'm like not going in there, but like he's just trying to hold himself up and get everything. He's like, all right, these are fine, whatever. But yeah, he was like
Poor guy.
post like stitches and everything, like couldn't really walk. So I'm literally just like pushing him around the mall in a wheelchair. I'm like, dude, you're really gonna do this to me right now? He's like, yep, 100%. I'm like, all right, whatever. But yeah. I mean, he was doing other inappropriate things in the wheelchair that I won't talk about because it's super disrespectful.
Actually, my best friend, my senior year, ended up in a wheelchair as well. So I don't know. Maybe that's what a weird coincidence. And we both graduated in
Same year.
2006, right? Yeah. But a couple of my friends and I, we got into a really bad car accident my senior year.
Really?
Yeah. So that was something that like. I did like the opposite of the senior slide. So like I got into senior year and I just partied. Like I didn't pay attention. Just like I didn't do anything. And then December came, that car accident happened.
Dang.
And then I remember my principal and my guidance counselor sitting me down and basically saying like, girl, like why don't you just either like drop out and get your GED? Because like you're not
You're like wasting your time.
yeah,
at that point,
like you're wasting
essentially.
your time and you're
Yeah.
wasting your parents' money. Because like I was at Will Catholic, so they're like,
Right.
why don't you just do us all a solid?
Figure it out.
And then I was like, oh, that's not happening. So then I worked my ass off. I ended up graduating. I worked that was huge. Like I really worked my ass off. But yeah, that car accident was pretty bad. Like my girl, she was my best friend growing up. She had like broke her hip and like needed surgery
dang.
and like
Like that
needed
bad. Wow.
like a plate and pins.
Snap.
Yeah, so it was very interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, it was like a movie. I feel like my senior year was like a movie.
Yeah, for sure. So, was it? Yeah, I think it was the same time. So prom happened, and then the next day I was supposed to have a track meet, and they never told us. We show up, it's like downpouring, but they never told us that they canceled it. So I showed up with my mom because it was like one of these bigger events or whatever, downpouring, and then I was mad because they canceled like our upcoming track meets because this was when the boulevard and everything got flooded. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
I do remember that.
So like, have you been on like the L.Y.F.E? You've been on the Lowell Boulevard before,
Yeah.
like near the bowling alley and stuff?
Yeah.
Literally, I don't know if you remember or if you were in the area at the time, but literally that entire area was like underwater. Like
I remember that.
flooded.
Didn't they have to close? Didn't the Vogue close?
Our whole
Because of
like
that?
sports area was flooded. Our locker rooms flooded. The mall where it was kind of like the lunch area, main area, like part of it was flooded. Cause like the tunnel that goes, I don't know if you've seen like obviously like on the premises of the Vogue, but they have that tunnel. So there's a tunnel, and like basically above it is like the walkway that leads to the gym. So one side is a gym, and then the other side is like the main part of the school. And then the tunnel is like where the bus drops off all the kids. Well, all that was flooded, so you couldn't drop the kids off. Like the pylons were like this high, and it was like up to here.
Wow.
Like it was that flooded. So they canceled like sports, everything. And then I was mad because the track meet that they had, again, this is my senior year. It was the conference meet. They ended up having it and didn't like tell us, or they had it somewhere else. I was pissed because I'm not gonna lie, I was like I had a competition with this kid from Tingsboro because Tingsboro was like our rivals, and I would beat him every single time. And then he ended up winning senior year because
you weren't there.
I wasn't there. And I'm like, dude, like, come on. Oh, I was so mad. I was
Did
like,
that,
oh,
like, burn you?
yeah. So we get back from, I think we had like a week off because everything was flooded. And then we get back on a Monday. Friday was supposed to be our last day. We came in Monday. They were like, hey, today's your last day. Like, we're doing all your senior activities right now. You're not going on the trip, but we have like a ventriloquist or whatever coming in. We're going to do that, and then you guys are done. And I was like, what? Like, it was kind of good because, like, we got out early, but at the same time, it was kind of like culture shock. Like, we couldn't really do our goodbyes. We didn't have that, like, typical, like, goodbye and all that other stuff. So it was literally, like, kind of like get your stuff and get up because they needed the classrooms to finish for all the other kids that were still had to stay because obviously seniors were done.
Right.
But, yeah, so, like, we were done basically a week early because of it. So like we missed a week and then we came back and they were like, all right, you guys are done. And I was like, dang, okay.
I remember I felt like, now that I like really think about it, because I actually don't think about high school often. That is a chapter of my life that I thought I kind of just like blacked out. But like, I remember, did you feel like a badass when you were a senior, or am I just corny?
A little bit, yeah.
I feel like I remember getting into senior year and being like, I'm a senior now. You know what I mean?
I was like, don't talk to me, freshman. Like, who are you? Like, sports teams?
Stupid.
Be like, yes, senior prank. Let's
I
fucking
know,
go.
yes. Like, I just felt like, yeah, we were just like, you almost felt like kind of like untouchable because you're like, all right, we're the oldest here. Like, we run this.
Even in sports, because obviously you get freshmen that try to join the team, and you're just like, dude, go grab that water. Like, you're a freshman. Like, shut up. Like, type of deal. Like, oh, I was so bad.
I was rude.
But it was only because I was a senior. Like, it had no other reason. Like, I wasn't trying to haze. It was just literally like, you're just a freshman. I'm a senior. Like, go get it.
I remember just doing it to the freshmen because the seniors treated me like shit when I was a freshman.
That too. Yeah. And you're just like, all right, whatever. I don't care.
And that for like a little bit. And then I ended up, when I was a freshman, like my friend group ended up being seniors. So I went to the senior prom when I was a freshman. I went to a lot of proms during high school.
Yeah, I went to 3 proms.
I think I went to like 4 different ones.
And a couple like side dances and stuff.
Yeah, I went to like all of Lil High's dances. I was always at Lil High dances. I don't think I ever went to anything for the Vogue though.
Yeah, I didn't go to Lil Highs, anything. I was like, the way I was brought up, it was like, you're not doing anything extra. Like, I didn't party in high school. I didn't do all that stuff. And then my friends would come in. They're like, oh, I got trashed this weekend. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, I can't relate. Sorry. I was at home probably playing video games or something. I just didn't socialize like that.
Well, you were a good kid. I was like busy rebelling. What were you like in high school life?
For me, it was just like, class, practice, class, homework, practice, eat, sleep, repeat.
Same.
So you weren't like partying or like ripping it up or like anything like that?
No.
I knew my mom wouldn't let me go.
Oh my God, I'm the only person.
My parents were, strict. They didn't want me to do any of that stuff. They didn't want me around that.
Same. Not that your parents didn't. Not that your parents didn't care.
No. Listen, I feel like the beauty and the curse of Kayla is there's no telling me nothing. Like, if I want to do something, I'm probably going to do it. And I've always been that way. I found that out especially when I was a teenager. So, like, yeah, I did have really strict parents. My mom was wicked strict, but, like, once I hit 15, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was doing whatever I wanted.
Yeah, I still had that, like we talked off air, the fear of God and then the fear of mom. Because I knew at that time, if I tried to do anything, there was no way for me not to get caught. Whereas when I got older, it was a little bit easier, I'll be honest. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I was like, yeah, I'm going here, and then obviously not. And I was off doing other stuff. So
all the way up until I was like 21.
Yeah, but
I mean, they let back when I was 18, but I mean, I still had some restrictions until I was
Oh, of
21, and then
course.
like from 21 on, like,
no,
all right, see you later.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. All right, be careful.
Nah, my mom was super. My mom, where you going? Who you going with? What time you gonna be back?
Yeah.
Like
Better not be doing this.
every
People are doing that. Don't do it. Oh,
yeah, every time I went out.
I feel like there was a period of time where it was, I don't know if I was in my 30s. It might have been late 20s or like maybe I just turned 30, where I had to move back into my parents' house for a little bit. And like I would get the text message from my mom, like if it was like late or whatever, her perception of late, of like, oh, are you coming home? Where are you? And I just was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know that.
But I don't know if that's different versus like a son versus a daughter type of deal, or I don't know, maybe it's probably unhealthy either way, but I feel like my mom was always like super like on me
because you're
I feel
female.
I'm assuming,
Okay,
because
I
I don't.
I mean, my mom was on me too. Like,
Yeah, my mom was really bad.
obviously, like to play sports, like we would have to, have good grades and all that shit. And
Right,
she wanted me
true.
to go to college and all that shit. So
Yeah,
um,
same.
yeah,
Kind of similar.
she pushed me to get all A's and B's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mostly A's, and then when I got like a B, she was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Yeah, when
Hey,
I
you're a
started
great student,
slipping,
though.
when I started slipping, my mom was like, "What are you doing? You better get your grades up. You want to play sports? You want to do this? You want to do that? You want to get out the house? Like, you better get your grades up." Like, grades had to be first, and then sports. Grades always came. Homework, everything, all that came before sports.
I was like, my teenage years were like really hard for me. So like I was really like my trauma had just happened to me before I entered high school, like the summer before freshman year. So it's almost like my freshman year was a blur, and then sophomore year, like when I turned 15, that's when things got like I started acting out and you can't really tell me anything, and like obviously at the time. Now that I'm an adult, I can look back at like little baby Kayla and be like, oh, like I know what I was doing. But at the time, like I just remember feeling so like lost and misunderstood, and like I didn't fit, and like I felt like I had to be so grown and I was so little, but I also felt like it was like me against the world and nobody understood.
Makes sense.
But I
understand what you're saying though. Like,
like it was just like a weird place to be. But at the same time, I still like, while there was that darkness, I still feel like there was like so many fun memories and just like crazy times and like funny happenings, or just things that were so like super special. Special memories. The Boulevard plays a huge part in my teenage memories, because like you're at the age where it's like, well, obviously you're not going to the club, you can't go to a bar. Like, what, if you can't go over to a friend's house, like, what are you doing? You're probably like cruising around, and if someone has their license,
100%,
or you're parked at the Boulevard and just like talking.
Yeah. Me and my friend, we would literally. It was either we would drive to the mall and just walk around, even if we had nothing to do, if we had no money. Sometimes we would, it was almost every week, we would go to PacSun, we'd buy a bunch of t-shirts, back when they had like the cool graphic t-shirts, like because like I was into DC and like all the skateboarder t-shirts, because like I loved like graphic tees, like good graphic tees, and it was always like DC always had like some of the best ones, so him and I would always pick and choose. Stars and Straps, what was the Travis Barker's brand. We were just make sure we didn't get the same shirt, like just pick and choose which one. All right, you got that one? All right, I'll take this one, like type of deal. It was either that or we just walk around the mall, or he would just pick me up.
Mall trips.
And mall trips just to walk around and buy some teas. He would just pick me up and we would just drive. Yeah. Sometimes we'd end up at the beach. We'd do a couple laps around the beach. He had a system in his truck. Obviously, he'd try to show out. And then we would drive home, and that was it. But we would just cruise.
Got you. And what were you gonna say, like?
A lot of the time, like during this, like I used to like spend entire summers up in Maine and stuff like that.
Cool.
A lot of the time, me and my friends would go to like Walmart because we were bored. We would just go in and fucking rip shit up until we get kicked out. You know what I'm saying? We were just like, we would grab a basketball, dribble that, pass it, run down the aisles, grab that, hey, go.
Wait, you spent like the whole summer in Maine?
Yeah. Me and my family had
nice.
We stayed at a campground.
That's
pretty cool.
And a lot of my friends are from like different places and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Some in Worcester, some in Rhode Island,
Yeah.
Vermont, just everywhere.
That sounds like
There,
fun.
there are some kids that came from across the country. Some people were from like Montreal, Quebec.
Oh yeah, because you got
Oh, right.
That was always cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my high school was trying to figure out relationships, and I got it all wrong.
What do you
Like
mean?
it was just bad. Like I was a super shy kid, especially when it came to more so girlfriend, like those kind of relationships. But I think it factored into just overall relationships. Like my experience with that affected my response to actual relationships.
Okay.
Where do I start? I know, like my first girlfriend was high school, and she ended up being pregnant by her ex-boyfriend. Like they broke up, but like during that time, like she was like growing
With child.
with child already. And then she tells me, hey, I'm pregnant by, my ex and blah, blah, blah. And like, we probably have to break up. But like me, I was just the completely unaware, just don't know what I'm doing kid of, oh, well, I'll be there for you and I'll help you with whatever you need. Like, dude, you're a freshman. Like, shut up. But I was that kid. I was that kid, like trying to be like the savior, like that kid you see in movies, trying to just be supportive and everything. And she was like, no, like not having it. I met my wife in high school on a dare, by the way.
What?
On a dare. Told this story many times. But so it was a Halloween dance. She's going to say that I'm telling it completely different, but I'm right. I don't care what you say. And I was sitting by myself. I was waiting for my friends to show up. And she was with her mom, who was chaperoning the dance. And so they started playing Truth or Dare because they were bored. So one of the dares was, I dare you to go over and talk to that kid. She has no idea who I am. She's never met me before. She was a sophomore. I was a freshman. And so she comes over, is like, hey, what's up? And me, again, being super shy kid, was like, hey, what's up? Like, I was like the one word answer.
Oh my
Try
goodness.
to get out of the conversation. Do not talk to girls whatsoever. Like, I had no game type of don't talk to girls. Not like, I don't talk to girls like that. Like, I'm just super shy. Like, I'm not going up to a girl and be like, hey, what up, shawty? What's going on? What it do?
Hey,
Like, not like that at all. Because that's where, like, what we were talking off air is like, people are like, oh, like all these girls think you're cute and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Stop it. Like, but there was no shot. Even if a girl was like, hey, I think you're cute, there was no shot of me going up there and be like, hey, what's up?
Really?
No shot.
Even if someone was like, I'm interested in you, I like you, you would have just been like...
She had to make the move, 100%. I was that shy. I was that kid. So, get dared, comes over, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Oh, just waiting for my friends. Oh, okay, and then leaves. Like, that was it. Like, did the dare, cool, whatever. So then for the preceding year, she would just say hi to me in the hallways. Hey, Justin, hey, what's up? And I'd be like, hey, what's up? So fast forward, I'm sitting in lunch, probably like my sophomore year. Sitting at lunch, and her friend comes over and he goes, oh, hey, she thinks you're cute. And I was like, oh, who? And then I look and I was like, oh, it's her. Cool, whatever. And I was like, all right. And she's like, she wants to meet with you after lunch or after school or whatever, by graphics. And I was like, all right. Again, she makes the move. So I'm like, all right, I'll show up. So we coordinate all the plans or whatever. And then as he's about to go, this is the funny part that my wife will never let me live down. As he's leaving, I'm like, yo, come back. He's like, what's up? And I go, yo, what's her name? For an entire year, I forgot her name, which is why I was like, hey, what's up? because I had no idea what her name was. No idea, no shot. Oh, it's Ashley. Oh, okay, all right. And then met, whatever, dated, and then from there we dated on and off. That's where a lot of my relationship trauma came from, because like she was that person like I really cared about. And again, I don't know if it was just not understanding relationships and trying to, I don't know, almost live that like movie realistic kind of relationship, I think is where I kind of put myself. And so like when we broke up, like it hit me hard, like every single time. And I was like, it's supposed to work. Like, I don't know. Like, because when we broke up, every time that we broke up, this was a couple of times, trauma.
You're like, every time.
Yeah. It was never me. For in theory, like it was either like some outside source, my mom, or just other things that we had to go through. Essentially, looking back, but it was never really like me. That was the issues. But when we broke up, I'm like, what did I do? I was always, what did I do wrong? How can I do it better? Oh, I can fix it.
I've been through a lot of that,
dude. And so like
different people.
Yeah. And then we would get back together and then we would break up again. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, I don't understand. Oh, it's not you, it's me. Like, I'm going through this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but like, again, like, well, we can work through it. Like, please, like, don't, like, because I hated for me, I hated even if and we only dated for like 3 months at a time. Literally, like 3 months would hit and we would break up.
Really?
Every single time. Like even
you just have a quarterly breakup.
I don't know what it was. Even when we got older and we dated probably when I was 21.
Okay.
And we literally 3 months, and it was almost like clockwork, and we broke up. That was when my sister passed away. That whole scenario.
Yes,
So that was the last time that we broke up, and then like 7 months went by, and then we were like, all right, can we just get ourselves together and make this work? And obviously we have. But yeah, there was just a lot of trauma. Like when we broke up my senior year, the year that she went to Puerto Rico, one of her exes had passed away while she was gone. But it was like somebody that was like really like close to her, even like outside of the relationship, just like friends and friend of the family and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
So she was just like I'm going through a lot, and again, I just can't be in a relationship right now. And I was like, but like what about like kind of like what about me? But to get to my point, what I was trying to say is I didn't like when you're just with somebody for a certain amount of period, whether it's relationship or friends, and then that stops. And then you have to get accustomed to essentially life without them, because you've created this routine, text each other at this time, you call at this time, and you see each other at this time, and whatever, and you're spending all this time.
And for the time it lasted, like it was phenomenal. It was great.
Exactly.
Like,
I am like PMSing,
and then all of a sudden all of a sudden without explanation, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, where do I fill the gaps?
That's actually such a
toxic
thing to navigate through.
Yeah.
And not to say that she was my only relationship in high school, but it was just like those.
No, right.
It was those moments, like I've said before, like I've had those toxic relationships where the girl's like, you need to buy me something, or else like that shows me how much you love me, type of thing. A girl goes on vacation and I didn't think about you the entire time I was gone, and I was like, bro, hit to the core, like dude, like I care about you.
Who does that?
Being called prude, and I'm like, dude, like we're in the middle of your parents' house, like their home, we're in the living room, like I'm not doing anything, like what is wrong with you?
Respectful.
Like again, like I was just like, what am I doing wrong, type of thing, and trying to figure it out, but just like not realizing not to say my wife was toxic. Looking back, we both recognized that it didn't work for us because there were things that we still had to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
And go through an experience. And then finally we were like, all right, we get it now. All right, cool. Like now I understand where we're at. But I never recognized the toxic relationships. I was just like, no, I was that person. I never broke up with anybody. There was maybe one person that I think maybe in all the relationships that I've had, like 10 plus, like I think I maybe broke up with 2, maybe. All the rest I was broken up with. Because I didn't want it to end. I never wanted it to end. I always wanted to work through it. Sorry.
I went down a very similar road. When I was, young in high school or like middle school and stuff like that, I was also shy. I was able to talk to girls. Like I had a lot of girls that were, that were friends and stuff like that. But then when it came time to like, if I
kick it,
I'd be like, yo, what do I do? Yo, what do I do?
Yeah. You had to have the friend help you. You need like the friend pick up.
I would do it and be like, nah, man.
I needed the wingman.
And it took me a while to like be comfortable.
Yeah.
And then like once I was like, I was, in and out of relationships that were, toxic. I thought I was doing something wrong, like you said. A lot of toxicity.
Yeah.
This actually happens to be the only like healthy relationship I've been in, honestly.
Amen.
And then, there was a lot of time where I was like in and out of, toxic relationships or like talking to somebody and then come across something. And then there was a lot of time where I just, did me for a few years.
I get that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I hated the single life.
It's always rocky, at first.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's normal for, anything to not happen like later on because like when you're so young, like you're still learning, you know what I mean?
Right.
You don't know what it means to be in an actual relationship, like you said before.
Yeah.
You're just going through the motions, really.
Yeah.
Some people, do have it figured out, and some people are, with each other for like a long time since they were like, 14,
like the high school,
15, 16,
high school sweethearts type of thing.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it doesn't come till later on where you're like in, a healthy relationship. You understand shit more. You understand yourselves more.
And then you look at it and you're like, damn, that was toxic.
Right.
Like so bad. Like I've had girls.
You think of different scenarios and like you just think, damn, that was dumb as fuck, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't relate.
Yeah.
I've had people.
Honestly, I'm being so sarcastic.
Yeah.
I've stayed with people for stupid reasons, just in just bad reasons. I've had people cheat on me with like famous baseball player, like MLB players that I've heard. Yeah, like just didn't want anything, like nothing. It was just like whatever. And she lived in Rhode Island she went to fast forwarding to college. Went to college together, but like she was originally from Rhode Island, and so like there was like that commute, once school was out, and then, ended up like cheating on me. But then like we got back, but I found out after we broke up too, from my friend, and then, there was, when we were trying to figure it out, she's like, well, if you want, we can stay together till the summer's over, and then like after that, like we can just be done. And I was like, dude, I'm not wasting my summer spending my time with you. And
Your ass.
So literally,
Seriously, why would I waste my summer with you,
dude? So literally,
I'm in the goddamn studio. What you fucking paying? What you paying?
Yeah. So literally, I'm leaving.
I came to get ready for.
Yeah, right.
Real.
I had my Solera with like two 12-inch subs in the back. And I kid you not, I was that loser. Because like music, not that it doesn't mean anything to me now, but like music was such like if I was in that moment, like there was a song for it.
Yes.
I'm literally leaving and I'm going, I'm riding solo. As I'm like bumping down, I was like, I blasted. I was like, where is it? I'm riding solo. Dude, I left like just, I'm out. I'm gone. Oh God, I'm out. Yeah.
I forgot about that song.
Yep. I was out. And I was like, no shot. And then my friend told me like 2 months later, coming back from a drunk night, obviously. And he's like, yeah, dude, I just gotta tell you, man, like she cheated on you. Like he flew her out and everything. And blah. I was like, dude, what? Yeah. He like knew the whole time too. And I was like, bro, like you waited till now.
Like,
a lot of what happens too is like you be talking to somebody and like at that same time, that person will be, talking to like one or two other people without you even knowing. They're so good at freaking hiding it that like
at least be upfront about it.
I was just gonna say, at least like,
that baffles me.
Be like, I am talking to other people. I learned guy code in high school. I learned guy code in high school.
Yeah.
Of don't date your best friend's ex.
Well, I feel like that's right. Well, because that would go for girls. Either way, I feel like that should just be an understanding. Like if I dated someone, or if you dated someone, or whatever, like that's like off the table. I don't get like I don't get that.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I didn't know it was a thing. I was just like, she said she liked me, so we'll date. And then he wanted to fight me in the middle of the hallway. He's like, dude, it's my ex, bro. Like, what the hell?
Let's do it.
She said she liked me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
You're like,
man.
I'm not making the first move.
Yeah, literally. So I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of high school for me was it was honestly like relationships. You know, I did the sports thing. I did the academics. You know, that was a piece of cake. The sports and the academics, that was a piece of cake. Not to cut you off.
Oh yeah.
That was all a piece of cake. It was the relationships that I was like scarred for. But
no, I'm trying to think. I don't think I had that many relationships in high school. I had maybe they were both my senior year. I'm lying. I feel like I serial dated probably for a little bit, and then like I had one. Yeah, I forget. Maybe one relationship was junior year and one relationship was senior year. Either way, that was high school for me. I was just busy like partying and stuff. And like,
I think I dated like 8 people in high school.
good for you.
About there.
I feel like I was
some twice.
Well, I would do that thing, and I feel like there's a piece of adult Kayla that still does this. I would do that thing where, you know, like I would be interested in someone, and then someone would be interested in me, and I'd be like, okay. And then it would get to like a certain point, and that person would like me like a certain amount, and I'd be like, all right.
Time
like,
to
time to back it on up.
It's
pretty awful.
I've gotten that too.
That's clearly that's what we call a trauma response, gentlemen.
I'll be eyeing someone else, and then 2 or 3 girls would be up on me, but like,
like,
nah, I'm going the other way.
Like,
yeah,
you were cute. Like, this was fun, but
yeah.
Yeah, I dated all the toxic people. It was bad. Like, I look back now and I'm like, dude, what was I thinking? And just seeing how these people were. Like, I had, like, one of the girls I dated, I, like, kissed her, that, like, made out with her the first time I met her. Like, didn't care. I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. Like,
I'm so awful. I'm like, so?
That was just who I was, you know, at that, you know,
I'm
at
like,
that
good
time.
for you.
Yeah, right? Way to bag them.
Good for baby J.
But she made the move. So
was that it for you? Like, if she wasn't making, like, if the girl wasn't making the move, then it wasn't happening?
No shot.
Okay. But as you, like, got older in high school, like, would you kick it to the girl first? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I mean, not every time. It depends on like what the vibes were and all that stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a little of both.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and there were girls that like I liked, but like, and they would say that they liked me, but like we would never do anything. I'm like, I really like you. You're single. Like, can we just like try? No.
I feel like I've always been.
No, just
No.
Nope.
Straight up. Like I tried. Like I was sending cards. Like, will you? Like I did like the card. Will you date me? Type of deal. Like Valentine's Day.
Oh my God.
Got
that's
denied.
So sweet.
I got denied. I was like, no, I'm gonna go like with my ex. I was like, okay.
They're like,
all right then.
peace.
We have more history, and you know we have more history scenario. Yeah.
But this dude's treating you like complete shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
history will never
Asshole.
keep me.
You got
Literally.
history.
Yeah,
What kind of good history do you have?
exactly.
But that's how we learn.
Yeah,
This
that's
is very much how we learn.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
very true.
you can't learn if you don't dabble. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
that's how you learn like about like just the quality people you should be around.
Yeah.
yeah.
That goes for relationships, that goes for friendships, that goes
Exactly.
for everything else.
I feel like I'm like constantly like still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just figure it out as you go.
We're still learning about ourselves.
Right.
We never stop learning
Right.
about anything. or anybody.
Well, I think it.
Now, of course,
Sorry, my
now
fault.
we're like much more aware, like
Exactly.
yeah,
Right.
like once you enter your 20s and you're on your own a lot more. So that's when the learning curves come, and that's when you adapt quicker because you have no choice but to.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like as we get older, and we are continuously changing because we just change as people as we as we grow and learn, that the people that we surround ourselves to, we constantly change that too, because we have to make fit what works for us in that time frame.
Right.
I definitely feel like if you were to look at my friends group, even like 5 years ago to now is different. Just based on where I'm at now. There's a lot of people that I've cut off, and then there's a lot of new people that have come in. And I feel like that's just based on where I'm at now. I'm definitely in a much different place.
I feel the same.
So I need to surround myself with people that are going to benefit me in this space now.
There's a lot of things, especially in the past few years, of just me like learning out of, or like shedding what doesn't serve me, and like just making a lot of realizations of like, oh wait, this dynamic makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I don't have to stay in it.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of things like, and I feel like a big part of this clicked for me like just the other day too, like of just like, oh my God,
Excuse me.
this doesn't make me feel good. Why am I still entertaining this? Oh,
Right.
because I love the person? Oh, because we have history? No.
Yeah.
Love isn't enough. History won't, like, it can't keep you, because if there isn't other things there, like.
And if it's not benefiting you, if it's
Right.
or not so much benefiting you, I don't want to make it sound as
It's
if
not transactional, but I get what
give
you're
me,
saying.
I'm getting, yeah, exactly. But if it's not being conducive to your life, just in
Right.
general as a whole, like I've always said, as long as you don't affect my livelihood, my family, or my money, like, God bless you, respect to you, do whatever you want to do in your life. Just don't affect those three things.
Right.
For me.
Like, I guess the way that I have to look at it is, it's not the whole, because I get what you're saying, but I think I understand what you mean. Like, how does this benefit me? Not like transactionally, but
Yeah.
like every time I leave a conversation or a hangout with so-and-so, am I drained, or do I feel energized? Do I feel like there were value adds, or
Yeah.
do I feel like I was just holding space for somebody for like 5 hours at a time?
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Which is okay, because like I know that sometimes also in dynamics people go through seasons at different times, and that's okay. But like if that seems to be always what's happening, or like I've just noticed, and I respect it, and I think there's nothing more beautiful than like giving people the space to be who they are. But with that being said, like I've noticed the placement of me in people's narratives, like where they need to place me to feel safe for themselves. I'm not cool with it sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just realized like, oh, I could walk away. Like, we don't have to, like, I don't need to rock with you. Like, I can put some space. You know, I don't think I realized that when I was younger.
No, me either.
Yeah, it's important. Like I've had friends that I've known since 2007, 2005, maybe 2007, and I've recently had to cut them off. Just because the relationship, it wasn't effective. I've even said it. Sadly, the only thing that I can really say, looking back at our relationship, that I could say that I'm quote unquote proud of, is the fact that they pushed me to even make music, and two, helping me find my church.
Wonderful.
And from 2007 to 2023, two things that I can be proud of. Like, because I look back, like I was that person that gave and gave and gave. You need this? Oh, here you go. Oh, you need a friend? Here you go. You need a place to stay? Here you go. And then we did, obviously we hung out and did all these crazy things that I look back and I'm like, I was such an idiot for doing, but we experience things, we go through things, it is what it is. But
You would give and not get anything back?
no shot. And it just recently it just hit me, and I was just like, I can't be in this anymore. There was a scenario that, I was not made aware of, a big life event that I was not made aware of. And this was something that was shared to me before, as far as like, you're not going to miss it this time. And I missed it this time. And this was the second time that I've missed a big life event like this. And because I'm not trying to put full business out there, but I was like, you keep repeating. You're a cycle repeating. And it doesn't change. It's the same cycle every single time. And I'm like, this is not conducive to me.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm putting in a lot of this effort and there's nothing being reciprocated. Again, non-transactional. It's just, you're not putting in any effort.
Right.
And, you know, we're reaching out, we're hearing from other people about like big life events. Like, I shouldn't have to hear it from other people. For me, knowing you since 2007, like, I should be one of the first people. Like, if you consider me your brother, like, to anybody that we talked to, oh, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother. Oh, that's my brother. To not even get anything, like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
So finally, I was just like, again, I wish you nothing but the best in everything that you're going through. I have no hate for you. I have the utmost love for you. But I have to keep you at arm's length.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. And it was one of the hardest things to do, but it also was one of the easiest things to do, just because of where I'm at now. I'm like, I have to, because it's not benefiting me. It's only stressing me out, and I just don't want to be a part of it.
Right. I get that. I've had to do that, like, take an inventory, and like, there are some people, like some of my day ones and some of my earliest theater family, and with no hard feelings, no malice, like, I'm not mad. It's literally just a sense of like, oh, you actually never really understood me, and you always loved me conditionally, and I just didn't see what it was. Because I realized that certain relationship dynamics, they seem to like cycle for me, and this is where I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, of like getting myself into like where I need to explain myself constantly, or like people, I think I don't know how to like explain it, but I think with a mix of like just the ADHD and like, you know, like I'm just a hype person. I get people think that they need to like explain me to other people, but in doing so, you're de-edifying me and you're actually making me look really bad. And like, I find that a lot, like, I've just now been like, okay, I can't do that anymore. Like, I can't be in a dynamic where like someone is like looking down on me because of that. Like, I need to be putting my energy and effort into like the dynamics that like where we celebrate each other. And it's not like a, oh, well, you haven't talked to me in 2 months and blah, 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 and then I feel like I have to be like, well, I had this, and this, and that. And it's like, no.
You had to justify
like, why are we doing this?
Right.
And that's why I said for high school, it was figuring out relationships, or boyfriend-girlfriend relationships affected my friendships, because I continuously chased toxic friendships. And there's been many that I haven't mentioned that fall within that category, you know, through college and everything else, and after college, where I was chasing toxic friendships because I didn't want people to leave. I didn't want that empty space. I wasn't comfortable with that empty space. Whereas now I'm like, I could care less. I would rather have an empty space and feel whole inside than the opposite.
Oh yeah, like I'm my cutoff game. I'm like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish nobody ill will. I don't.
Oh,
none of that stuff.
Not.
You know,
of course not. But it's like, if you're not aligned, you're not aligned. And you got to be able to say like, it's just not time. It's just not time. Like, maybe you might meet up again later on in life. Like, you never know. Like, that's fine. Just like I can't say like I'll never talk to these people. Like, no, it's just that.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm just realizing some things for myself right now, and I'm putting some space. Like, that doesn't. Who knows where you'll be in a few years? But I think it's just important to take the inventory and make those decisions for yourself, and like while you're growing and changing too.
The toughest thing for me was to realize that some people are only here for seasons, and that you have to understand that. And that if they do leave, there's a reason for it, and their time is up per se, as far as in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and that it's still kind of hard, but it was something that I had to learn too. You know, even recently, like I said with my friend, you know, you just because we kept trying to repeat the cycle. You know, we'd stop talking for a while, and then, oh, hey, what's up, man? You know, I haven't talked to you in a while. Oh, you know, act like nothing happened, and then the cycle just repeats itself.
I totally get that.
Sometimes it just starts to feel forced, you know.
That's where it started. That's where it started getting.
Should, you know.
It's like you're just doing it just to complete the friendship, not actually out of just goodwill and like, I actually want to hang out with you. But it's just like,
you feel like
because we had history, we need to keep this together.
Yep, that's why I'm like, like it can't be that. It can't just be that.
Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I can't anymore. Sorry, man. But that's, again, going back to high school, that's where that all,
what would
for
you
me,
guys,
stem from.
If you could if you could tell high school Jay, if you could tell high school life a few things or one main thing, or like what would you say to the younger version of yourself?
That's a good way to close out. That's a good question.
I would tell myself to not care about what this person thinks about me, what that person thinks about me. Let go and let God. That's the biggest thing. Yep. And you know, not stress so much about my future. You know, not having money, not having this and that, comparing myself to others. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I would tell myself for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that, you know, just like I talked about, I think it being hard for me to be alone, you know, and looking for validation in relationships and not being okay with myself. Because again, I think that stemmed into later things, you know, in depression, and like when my sister passed away, and then, you know, wanting to, you know, do all that stuff, you know, and just loving myself for who I was and not caring about what other people think about that. Yeah. You know, I was definitely trying to fit into a lot of friends groups and all these other things. And, you know, with the different sports, then you have different friend groups when those things roll around. And so I think for me, just learning to just love myself for who I was. And if people can't accept that, then they, you know, that's their issue, not yours. You know, because again, the relationships, you know, the girls weren't accepting of who I was and where I was at. You know, even with, you know, how strict my mom was. Like, if you can't accept that, you know, you're not for me. You know,
right?
So just you know, just accepting me for who I was and learning to just love myself and be okay with that. You know, and you know, it's okay to be single. You know. Being in a relationship doesn't validate who you are or, you know, the acceptance that you need. And I think in part, not to take a giant step, but I think that goes into just, you know, some of the things that we talk about recently, like opportunities that I'm, you know, that I feel like I'm not getting that I should be getting. And, you know, oh, is that validation for how I am as an artist or a podcaster? And it's like, no, it's not. Like, you're doing what you need to do. Stop trying to seek that validation from other people. You know, you're fine. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. Your process is different than other people's processes. Yes. And your success is going to look different than other people's successes.
Yes.
So I think just being okay with myself.
I agree.
I would also tell myself to speak up for myself and, you know, not let this person run me over, not to, you know, let this person tell me what I should be doing, you know?
Yeah, big facts.
I think...
What about you?
If I could talk to teenage Kayla, I'd be like, baby girl, what you got is gold. Lean into it. Like, know that. Like, your differences are what make you special. Yeah. Like just know that. Or like one day, even if it feels gross right now, like one day you're gonna realize that. Like, or like, I just wish that I could tell my teenage self, like, you know in your gut everything you want to do. Don't let don't do things to please other people's timelines.
Yeah,
That is something that I wasted so much time. I've gone in so many circles, gentlemen, just to end up back in the same place, wanting to be on stage and wanting to make music ever since I was a little girl. How many cycles do I need to put myself through?
Right.
And here I am at, I'll be turning 35 in September. And now I'm finally like buckling down and making that decision. I wish I could tell my teenage self, like, your path is going to look different. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like, follow your gut.
That's huge too.
You're not a 9-to-5er, bitch. You're just not.
Yeah.
Make it work how you need to. I wish I could tell myself that.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I also feel like things do happen for a reason. My timeline is my timeline. Like, I do trust God's timing on that, and like how everything is panned out. But damn, they're like, we were talking earlier of like, oh, I wish I knew I was pretty, you know what I mean? Because I was like looking at a picture of myself from high school, and I was like, I'm so stupid. Why did I think I was ugly and fat? But it's like, when you're a teenager, you just think everything is so bad, and like, you can't really nothing's based in reality,
Right.
Yeah, life is the worst at that moment. You're like, dude, you got it so made. Like,
right? I would look back and be like,
you got no bills, you got nothing.
Yeah.
What are you stressing about?
Right, your work shift, you go to Market Basket from 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Chill out. You aren't working 9 to 5, worried about
4 to 9 is the long shift.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, y'all got it made, so enjoy it. That's what I always tell the teens. Like, listen, like, y'all got all this little drama that y'all going through right now. I said, this is the best part. Like, for real, they say that. I mean, the cliche, your high school and your college years, those are your best years of your life. Like, really, it is. Because after that, it's when the real world slaps you in the face and says, all right, now you have responsibilities. Now you got to get a job. Now you got to get, for most people, now you got to get a car. Now you got to get a house. Now you got to pay bills. Now you got to get a phone. Now you got to do this. Now you got to do that. Now you got to do this. Demand. You don't have that.
You got to be here. You got to be there.
I loved the days when it's like, oh, yeah, like someone would, like one of my parents had to drive me to work. I didn't have a cell phone.
But you didn't have to worry about anything. Oh, I got a ride. All right, cool. There's a phone there. All right, cool. Sports up. Bus is going to bring me. All right, cool. Now it's like, got to get to the podcast. Hope I have gas in the car.
I know, like after
Get
this,
to work.
I'm literally dropping my car off at the shop, and I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yep. I got to get an oil change on my truck too. I'm like, all right, here we go. Here's another, probably $200.
That must be expensive for trucks, right?
Yeah, it's like 150 min on just like a traditional, just oil change, rotation and stuff. But if it needs all the extra stuff, that always pops up, especially at 75,000 miles, it's like, yay. And it jumps up to, 1,000. Yeah, it's fun times.
But, good times, adulting.
By the way, you need new tires, you need new motors.
You knew everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you're checking.
That's happened to me.
Much. I got you covered.
Oh, that's happened to me. I've gone in oil change.
5,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's real. I went in for an oil change, and they were like, "Yeah, you need rotors and tires." And I went, "Oh yeah, how much does that run me?" "Oh, about 1,200." I went, "Oh, great." "Oh, you got a flat tire on your 4-wheel drive car?" "Yeah, you can't just change that one tire. You got to replace all 4."
Is that real?
Oh, 100%.
Would you like that fixed now? I fucking guess so.
Yeah, literally.
Assholes.
Do I have a choice? Do I want my car to
Take
stop?
everything I have in my bank account.
Yeah,
just go right for it.
Yeah, literally. Oh, it was
awful.
terrible. I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. It's happened to me twice too.
Like, knock on wood.
The second time I wasn't as stressed about it, because I definitely had one of those moments where I was like, thank God, because it was back like during COVID, as we wrap up, but back during COVID when we were getting all the stimulus checks, and something in the back of my head kept telling me, put it away. put it away. So, I started hoarding, some of them, and even I splurged a little bit, but a lot of it I was like, I put it away. And then, lo and behold, hey, truck needs some new rotors and some brakes. And I was like, all right, here we go. But then I looked and I was like, I actually have the money for this. And it's there. And I literally left and I was like, I don't feel too bad about this. I felt actually really great. And I was like, thank you for that. But,
Can't relate. I never have the money when I need it. I'm always scrambling, and it's always like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
For me, I would have a good amount saved up. I'm like, all right, let's keep going, and then something else comes. I'm like,
you're like, yep,
something else comes.
That's what happens for me. I'm like, yeah.
Every time, almost every time.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm about to get in the studio. We go book it for like 20 hours and knock out this album. Nope, need new breaks. All right, guess that album's getting pushed back a couple weeks. Couple paychecks. So there's that. I guess we ain't getting those beats we wanted. Moving on. Guess that music video ain't getting shot. Sorry, Mike. I'll catch you in a couple weeks. Type of deal. So yeah.
Gotta delay the album.
Yeah, seriously. I've been.
Fuck it, I'll just put it out right now. I was gonna put a video up, but I need this shit out. Here you go.
Yep. Everything gets dropped, and you're like, all right, I'll just put the album out.
Yeah.
Done. Cool.
But then it does better than you think it did. Because people are
true.
just like in tune.
Yeah,
it's also a good feeling. But
and
still, I needed the video out.
Right. You're like, this would have done so much better with a video. But here we are. Low budget. What are you going to do?
Right.
Such as the music industry. But we just keep pushing and we figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts? Any final high school remembrances that we want to divulge to these people?
No, I think I've shared more than enough for a lifetime.
I'm like, I'll share one funny story, and then we'll. It was always one. I had a Toyota Solera, 2-door, and it was before a basketball game. So we leave the Vogue because our game was the second game. The girls were playing first, so we drove to Wendy's really quick. So Vogue, Wendy's, right across the bridge, Rook Bridge. Grab it, come back. We're taking the left where the bowling alley is, and my friend, I don't remember. Sandwich is irrelevant. But they put tomatoes on it. He doesn't eat tomatoes. He was like, oh, I hate tomatoes. So I forgot. Let me rewind. It's me, my friend, and then this girl that he was talking to, or she was a cheerleader, friend of ours, whatever. So she's in the back. He's in the passenger. Obviously, I'm driving. And so he's like, oh, tomatoes, gross, whatever. So I'm taking the turn. He literally throws the tomato out, but it comes back in, slaps the girl in the face. She's covered in like mayo and tomato. She's like, what the hell? He's like, dude, I threw it out the window. But like just the force and everything, just right back in.
So
there
funny.
you go. Bam. Yeah. Right before a game. Yeah. She was cheerleading that game too.
Oh.
Yeah, she was one of the cheerleaders.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
So one of the little tidbits. But yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. I always said if I could go back, I'd go back to high school. Do it over.
Really?
No, if I could know then what I know now.
I would go
High
back
school's
to
where I would
like
start, freshman year.
I think I'd go back to my early 20s.
And there'd be a lot of things that I would fix.
Like
I would go back to post high school graduation.
Yeah.
But I always go into the mentality of like I can't say why I'm doing these things, or kind of give glimpse of the future, if you will, type of deal. Like if I did that, then I would instantly get put back here, type of deal. Like I have to know what I know, but I can't let anybody else know.
But you can't let. I get what you're saying.
And just like fix certain areas and just see what happens. But again, I think it just comes down to there's just some things that you just have to learn. I feel like you'll learn it another way if you don't. So,
I agree.
And you'll end up right back at the same point. It's like the Back to the Future, if you will. I don't know if have you ever seen Back to the Future? Not to insult anybody.
Yeah.
So
any of the references that are ever made on this podcast, I'm just like,
yeah, sure. No. We'll have to talk about
Really?
it.
You haven't seen that movie? God, holy shit, where the fuck have you been? You living under a rock?
I am life.
But anyways, well, I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in to this episode of the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast, our Prom-Cast. I hope you enjoyed our little flashbacks into high school. If you want to hear more, please drop a comment. Let us know. Maybe we'll give you some more insider scoops as we move forward. But again, any final thoughts before we kind of tap out? Want to leave the floor open for anybody?
No, just I guess just congrats to the grads again.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, all the hard work.
Best of luck for the future, for wherever that takes you, whether it's the workforce, military, college, whatever, high school, wherever that takes you. We just wish you nothing but the best and congratulations. Just want to say God bless to everybody for tuning in. Shout out to 41st Studios. Shout out to MOCG. Appreciate all of y'all for all that y'all do. But until next time, my name is Jay Faith.
My name is Life.
I'm Kayla.
And this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast. We'll catch y'all next time. What's up?